Good morning, everyone. I see that we still have some people spilling in here. Actually, we hit 100 registrants for this event. So I'm very happy to welcome you all here today. Um, so far, we don't have 100 people in here, so I imagine that quite a few more are going to be spilling into our event. But I am going to go ahead and start in the interest of time and out of respect for our presenters here today. So my name is Michelle Grew, and I am the Chief Advocate of the Ottawa Coalition of Business Improvement Areas. There are 18 business improvement areas within the City of Ottawa that are homes to over 7,000 businesses, and of which we have a great percentage of small businesses and small to medium enterprises. So it's my pleasure to be able to host a funding forum for yourselves today with our partners. We've got La Cité here today, and we also have the Ontario Centre of Innovation here today. So what I have done is I've posted the agenda in the chat just to give you an idea of the flow of today's event. I do realize that many of you may have some questions around the funding programs that are available. What we'll do is if you can put them in the chat, we will wait until both presenters are finished. And then we can go into that question answer forum. But you can go ahead and put your questions in the chat. And of course, if you don't feel like putting them in the chat, just raise your hand. But I would lean towards putting them in the chat just because of the amount of people that are here today, that will be here today. So far, we're at 25. It may go up significantly given the registration. We are also recording this session. OCOBIA will be putting this up on our channel, and we will be linking to it on social media just to be able to get this information out to as many people as possible. Without further ado, I'll guide you again to the agenda, but we do have up on deck, we've got a presentation by La Cité on specialized services, co-financing programs to help small and medium enterprises. So, Benita and Tui, I'll push it over to you, and I have set the setting that you can take over control for the presentation.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you for having us. Hello, everyone. My name is Benita, and I'm a project manager here at La Cité. Some people from Ottawa may know La Cité as this college, Francophone college, but we also offer different type of services. And today I'm here to showcase and actually tell you about this one here. And I'm going to share my screen. Let me know, guys, if you can see it. You can see it. Okay, are you able to see my screen? Just a thumbs up will work.
Looks good.
Amazing. Well, let me go full screen here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so morning again for everybody that's joining us. I see that we're at 31 people, 100 people, that's a lot. I hope we get to that number, Michelle. So as I said here, I'm going to present this, as Michelle mentioned, I'm going to present this program, which is co-financing for expert consulting services. It's mainly like to reduce barriers here to advisory services for businesses in this region. And this program is funded by FedDev, so the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario, just to give you some context here. And like I said here, La Cité, a lot of people, if you're from Ottawa, you probably know us. We are on Aviation Parkway, and it's the largest Francophone college with a lot of programs, almost 90 plus 90 programs here, a lot of students from Canada and abroad. And as part of La Cité, as this big entity, there is also La Cité des Affaires, or La Cité business, so the business side of La Cité. And we offer a lot of services to our community, whether it's being around entrepreneurship for entrepreneurs here in Canada or the ones that are coming into the country. And the services are actually bilingual. So a lot of people have that idea that we only offer services in French, but we also offer services in English here. And there is a lot of training, mentoring, and specialized programs with different funders, whether it's being FedDev under this program or Immigration Canada or other funders here for different programs that we serve in the city and in the region. That's just to give you an idea about La Cité. And to dive more into this program, I think I skipped one. Nope. To dive more into this program here, what is this co-financing for expert consulting services? It's mainly because we recognize the need with the dev that there is a lot of value in advisory services, and a lot of businesses will skip that part because they don't have, one, the time, and also mainly the money to invest into these services. So since the cost is a major barrier, with this program, we can offer up to 50% to cover the amount of the consulting fee so that the business owner or the business in general doesn't have to hinder their activities just because of the money part for consulting services. So what is covered or what is under this umbrella of services? We have strategic planning, digital marketing, market studies, IP strategies, franchise strategies. So it's a lot of services that are covered here. We also have a lot of AI implementation that we've been doing recently, optimization of online services, ERP optimization or implementation training. So it's a lot of services that can be covered under the umbrella of this program. And like one of my favorite business people, person always say, the best answer in management and in business is it depends. So the best thing is always to apply, and we review the file with you and follow you throughout the process here and see how we can cover for the cost of your consulting services. Okay. And just to give you an idea of how it works, I love numbers, and I think like as business people, we love numbers and we love to dive into numbers. Just to give you an idea, for a quote of $10,000, for example. So you have this quote from a service provider, maybe it's for AI implementation into your business. It's $10,000. And you're trying to see, okay, how can I create some cash flow or find some cash flow into my business to actually fund this project? What we can do on our side is that there is that grant part of $5,000 that is covered under the program. And La Cité has an administrative fee of 15% of the amount. Here that will actually add on to the invoice. So that's like a total of 1,500 in this case. And the other 5,000, so the other 50% actually comes back to the business. So if you add those $5,000 that's left from the grant and the administrative fee of 1,500, so the total due from the business to La Cité is 6,500. The way it works is that we pay the service provider directly. So based on the schedule that we would have decided, or that would be on the quote that the service provider would have provided, so the expert would have provided, and we pay them directly, and the business reimburses us. And that's also something that we discuss, depending on your cash flow, depending on your entries of money, and we set up a plan where you reimburse us. So the whole payment situation is that we pay beforehand the service provider and you repay us, depending on a very specific schedule, depending on your cash flow and your situation again. Like I said, the best answer in business is it depends. And in this case, the payment depends on your situation as a business. And now you might be very interested in this program and you want to know if you're eligible or not. So to be eligible, it's a very open program here in terms of criteria and eligibility. So the main one is that you have to be a registered or an incorporated business, and also located in Southern Ontario, since our funder is FedDev. So it covers Southern Ontario, and also to be seeking for that part of growth, innovation, and strategic advisory services. So it really has to be targeted towards growth, innovation, and strategy in your business to qualify here. Okay, so how do you apply for the program for co-financing? It's a very simple, straightforward process. You express your interest by filling out a form. You will have the link in the next slide, the QR code for that form. And you just fill out that form and you upload the expert quote or the pro forma invoice. So you would have beforehand like talk to an expert or to a couple of experts. We actually advise that you speak to different experts to kind of see their expertise, but also target exactly what kind of expert you want to be working with. Because it's your choice what expert. We don't impose like the choice of expert that you will be working with. You have the choice of the expert. So we advise that you see different experts in the services that you're looking for, and you submit, fill out that form, and you upload the expert quotes on our hand or the pro forma invoice. And what we do next is that we review the documents that you have provided. We'll also usually have a call with you about where you are at, what type of business you do. It's also in the form, but it's always good to have like a good conversation and see where you're at as a business and why the service is needed. And if approved, we ask for your certificate of incorporation because we will need that on your file to draft the agreements. We'll formalize the agreements here with you and the schedule of payments and all of those details. Then we go with the signature. So the people that I will be signing is you as the business owner or the business CEO, the head of the business, your expert, and as well as the La Cité des Affaires, which is represented by my manager that's on the call here, Twee, that will also be signing on there. And of course, we track the delivery and of the program by mainly having just to see, okay, where you're at in the delivery of the program. And when it's at the end of the program, when it's the last payment that's due to the expert, we ask that you just provide like whether it's been an email or a verbal, well, an email agreement that everything was delivered. So we're sure that everything was done properly and we release the last payment to the expert. Okay. And that's basically the end of our presentation. On the next slide, you will have the QR code here for the form that you can fill out online if you're interested, and you have my information on here with my email and my phone number. We try to keep this presentation short and sweet. So if you have any questions, like Michelle said, you can put them in the chat, and we'll be very happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
And thank you so much. And I know that I see a question already, and I just in general, I'll let everyone know that when FedDev, I call it FedDev, sorry, that's just part of my experience, but they do consider Ottawa as part of Southern Ontario. It's just the way they
Yes.
draw their map. So, and I believe that probably 100% of the people that are here are today are from Ottawa, or at least the greater Ottawa region. So just
Yes.
to clear that one up. And I do see that there's more questions, but we'll get back to those. We'll circle back to those after the Ontario Centre of Innovation has theirs. And then we'll have a forum on it. So I'll move very quickly ahead with so if anyone has questions on this, you can go ahead and type them in, and I'll move, yes, I'll move ahead to Richard, if you can take the floor with Ontario Centre of Innovation.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Again, I'll do that. Can everybody see my screen okay, or am I in the wrong mode?
You're good.
Good. Excellent. Thank you very much. So my name is Richard Waterhouse. I'm based here in Ottawa, and I have one of my colleagues here with me today, Alan Yoga Singham, who's also based in Ottawa. And we'd like to talk to you about a program that was set up this summer with the Ontario government. And it is all about retail organizations going digital. So the Ontario government accepts that retail is a key part of the community and the infrastructure in Ontario, and we have to make some efforts to protect retail. We want to see high streets with shops and restaurants and facilities there because they really are the lifeblood of towns right across Ontario. One of the stats that I like to use is if a dollar is spent locally with a local merchant, 66 cents of that dollar stays in the community. If a dollar is spent online, then 8 cents of that stays in the community. So it's really critical that these businesses, your businesses, are supported. So I'd like to talk about this program where there's up to $5,000 in a grant available. So probably the first one is who am I and who is OCI? So OCI is the Ontario Centre of Innovation. Been around for quite a while. We're a non-for-profit based in Toronto, working very closely with the Ontario government. And the Ontario government uses us to run a number of their grant and innovation programs. So we do a lot of work around vehicles, electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, life sciences, high tech, and startups in those communities. So it's a way for the Ontario government to execute quickly on some of their funding programs. And we also report back up to the ministry all the outcomes of these programs. So we are funded by the Ontario government. We're non-for-profit, so we don't charge you anything for our services as we go through there because they've already been paid for. So the question is the retail program that we have is who is it sorted for? So it's any organization or business that's incorporated that has a physical presence in a building or structure, so a physical storefront. It is businesses that are incorporated because it allows us to do due diligence. We understand, and this is a fairly new program, that a lot of retail can be sole proprietorship. So we are feeding that back to the ministry, and we'll see whether that can be adjusted next year. But at the moment, it is incorporated. And a physical storefront, exactly what it's like. It's a bricks and mortar building, a shop door with a bell and a sign that says open, closed, and the hours. So that's what we're talking about, and that's what we want to support here. It's not home businesses or e-businesses. It's a business that sells goods or physical services to the public. So bookshop, coffee shop, hairdresser, shoe store, gift shop, butcher, baker, candlestick maker, all of those, and all of hospitality where there is a food element. So a restaurant, a bar that has food, a takeout, all of those are eligible as part of this service. So if you own a store that someone walks into and they leave with a bag, or they leave different with a new haircut or new nails or a barbershop, all of those are eligible. It's focused on smaller businesses, so 1 to 50 full-time employees, and it must have been operating for at least a year and make 100,000 in revenue annually. When we look at the kind of technology that we're looking to support here, it is very open, and this is hardware or software that you want to purchase to make your business more efficient and more effective. So it could be a modern point of sale system to allow you to track your inventory and process credit cards and tap a lot quicker. Inventory management, accounting software, CRM tools to track customer loyalty. We have a paint shop that uses CRM tools, so I can go in there and ask for the blue paint I had last time, and they know which blue paint out of the 50 blue paints I actually need. Self-service checkouts for quick service restaurants and coffee shops like we're seeing in the Tim Hortons, etc. RFID scanners, electronic shelf labels, loss prevention, so video and security, scheduling and labor management. And AI is also being used, particularly with restaurants for taking reservations and communication. So really is quite open, but it's not tools of the trade. It's about what makes you more efficient and your business more engaging with the customers. It's a 50% reimbursement of the digital technology that you purchase. So you spend $7,000, we will then reimburse you $3,500. The maximum amount that we will reimburse is $5,000 towards expenses. So if you go and spend $10,000, we will reimburse you $5,000. But the minimum total cost of the project would be $6,000, and then $3,000 from us and $3,000 that you would be covering yourself. Any expenses have to be incurred after the project is approved. So unfortunately, if you bought a new POS system last week, unfortunately, that is not eligible. It's for new purchases and new acquisitions. The process is you apply to OCI, and Alan will help you with the application. And then we're taking at the moment about a week to 10 days to approve those applications. Once your application is approved and some banking paperwork has been done, you have 30 days to go and purchase what you need, and then you submit the proof of payment. And on our next check run, we will reimburse you the amount that is owed. Bit of a nod to La Cité here. We have French speakers in the team. We also have all of this documentation in French. So if anybody would like a French copy, unfortunately my French is terrible, but I do have people on the team that speak French, so we're happy to work with you in either language. Really no concern for us at all. QR code, I will make sure that I send Michelle the deck in English, the deck in French, and the appropriate website links. But really, we're trying to keep this as simple as we can. It is, if your shop or business needs some new technology, we will reimburse you 50% of that technology up to $5,000. So if you need new iPads for your POS, we can cover half of that. If you need a new PC, we can cover half of that. If you need security cameras, we can cover half of that. If you need accounting software, we can do that. So as with any of these programs, there's a couple of quirks on it, and we're happy to help you through those processes. But please, if there's an opportunity where we can help you with your business, we would really like to. And at the end of the day, this is from the Ontario government, and it comes from your taxes. So this is your money, so you really should be taking advantage of it.
Great, thank you so much. Oh, I'm echoing. Not sure where I am echoing, but we have thanks to you both, and I'll keep everyone up on screen. So a few questions that are coming through here. So thank you for sending the links to your programs. That's wonderful. I see a question from Christine. Christine is from Bell's Corners BIA. So I guess in general, so that's it's regarding BIAs eligible for any of these. So a nonprofit organization. So just to widen the question, um, uh, you would require an incorporation document from nonprofit organization. Are they eligible as well? For either side, well, we can start with Richard.
OCI, no.
Okay.
Non-for-profits are not eligible. It has to
Okay.
be an operating business.
Okay. And Benita, do you want to do you want to answer on behalf of La Cité?
Sure. Same here. Unfortunately,
Okay.
non-for-profits are not covered on the program. It really has to be a for-profit business.
Okay. That helps. That helps a lot. Okay. So then there's the Southern Ontario. Um, Co-finance. Okay, so I think, Steve, by answering your question, if my business is based here, is my business eligible for La Cité's co-financing grants and admin fee subsidy? Yes, by geography, and meeting the other conditions that were listed, I would say yes on that. Um,
We can also add, Michelle, if you
yeah,
allow me, that yeah, it's a little lapsus that I usually do because I know that like FedDev covers Southern and Eastern Ontario. So I just want to clarify that.
yeah.
So it's really Southern and Eastern Ontario that's included in that. So anybody that's in Ottawa, Prescott Russell, it's also covered under the program.
Okay.
Benita, I would say that we will go the area will cover also Sarnia region, Windsor, so at the end, western end.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I'll have you answer first, and then Richard can answer the what is the application deadline? And I believe, yeah, the application deadline. So, Benita, for
Sure. So the application deadline is really until the envelope is all used, exhausted. So at this point here, if I can clarify, we have about 14% left. So we receive funding from the beginning of the fiscal year for us, which is April 1st to March 31st, 2026. In this case, we have about 14% left
okay.
of that envelope. But keep in mind, if we're done with that envelope, it will renew for next year. So you can always reapply, contact us by May or as soon as possible at this point.
And when you say next year, and sorry, Richard, I'll jump in for a second. When you say next year, do you mean next fiscal year, as in after March 31st?
Yes,
For,
so
okay, just
around April, May, time for us to receive the new funding.
okay. And Richard from
Yeah,
OCOBIA?
so our project started in July, and we received funds for 350 grants, and it's intended to run until March 31st next year. So far, we've issued just over 100 grants. So there is still lots of grants available. It is first come, first served. I think I will be signing contracts right up until the deadline. But we are working on a renewal, which will be a multi-year renewal with the Ontario government. So our hope is there'll be no interruption in this funding tool. So currently, it's when it's all awarded, it's done. We think that will run definitely into the March timeframe, but we can't guarantee that. And then the hope is that April 1st we will get a new funding for multiple years. But again, can't guarantee that, but it's looking very promising.
Okay, and it looks like so the question was asked earlier, and I know you had both presented, but the maximum amount we can apply for, I believe it was 10,000. The
Yes.
project size was 10,000 for both of your projects. Is that correct? Or for
So
both
for
of
us,
your
it would
funds?
be 9,999.
Okay,
But
okay.
yeah, quite there. Yes, just that
Okay.
1 cent. Yeah.
Nah, we give a penny more, so we're okay there. So no, uh,
Okay.
the way it frequently works with government programs is any funding that you get has to be matched one for one by yourself. The government rarely pays 100% of anything.
Yeah.
So for our program, the maximum is $5,000 from the government that has to be matched $5,000 from the business
Yeah.
for a project total of 10,000, and the minimum is 3,000 and 3,000, and that's just because of admin costs of running these programs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think, Steve, we may have answered your question, but I have a spin-off question. So Steve Hunter has a question. Are there any scheduled end dates for either of today's programs? I'm planning to start a business in 2026. So it looks like, Richard, you might not have the same fund available next year. We'll see what the province of Ontario has. But Benita, for FedDev, is this scheduled to have a new cohort in 2026 already for FedDev?
Yes, so
Okay.
for 2026, we'll have the funding renewed. The program runs till 2027. So in 2027, hopefully it will be renewed, but I cannot guarantee at this point, but 2026 for sure.
Okay, wonderful. I find that listening to you both, I've met with you both individually and listening to the two separate funds, it's highly complementary because you've got your service based and then you've got your product based, and it's a wonderful. I'll call it with OCI may not necessarily be product, but tech is product to me, like an actual tech product, and physical products when you're talking about things like cameras or counters or anything like that for businesses. And then you've got your consultant that you can find. I also, and I spoke, Benita, with you about this before too, which is a lot of businesses have consultants and contractors that they work with who are your subject matter experts, and those, may be the people that you want to work with, but you haven't had the opportunity to do a project with for growth because of having to pay that full amount. And so this is a great opportunity to work with a professional that you even know. Is that correct?
That's right. That's totally right. And when Richard was talking, he mentioned the like accounting software, for example. That's something that we get a lot because we cannot fund the software itself,
Yeah.
but we can fund the training that comes with the software. So they could get the funding from OCI to get that software, ACP. I'm not too sure what kind of software that they need. And we would pay for the help cover the fees for training on that new software tool. So it's very complementary. And in that case, also, they might have an accountant that they've been working with for a long time. And they just need a new program for accounting and just don't have the funds. So this is a great opportunities for business.
Yeah, and even on I'll call it the backwards way. And I know that there are a lot of BIAs that have members who are in that digital marketing and in that AI space and in that consulting space. And this is a point where they can talk to them and they can approach their client base and say, this is an opportunity for you. You've been looking to grow, or even people who, for the retail modernization, this is just an opportunity to go and knock on doors and say, if you've been, looking at security cameras, or if you've been looking at technology to boost up your business, this is a great time to do it, and have it, paid for in half, but I mean, to have it paid for.
Yeah, we don't have a restriction on where the vendor is located in this program, but we love to see when someone is buying from an Ontario vendor. It really makes a great story and it helps the application. It's not a requirement, but all of these things help and it allows us to, audit and check on the vendor a lot better. So those elements. The other thing I would say is there's wonderful technology out there, and I know that a lot of people with their stores are head down doing their daily work. I would say all day, but all day and most of the night as well. So there is fantastic technology out there that can make life easier, and if they're able to leverage this grant to get some hours back each day, I think it's exactly what the government's trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. I see that Stephanie L has a question. Not-for-profits are not eligible, but what about social enterprises? I think, Stephanie, it might just be how your business is registered. Would that be correct? And so if you are a social enterprise would probably be a registered corporation. Um, Stephanie, do you want to just write what your business is registered as? Or if you want to come off mute, that's up to you and your comfort. I think it depends on how your business is registered with the government. So if you are, I know for like OCOBIA, for example, is a registered not-for-profit, so we would not be included as OCOBIA, and BIAs as well through the city. It's an association for the time being. So an association would be a registered non-profit, I believe. I think it's just how your registration is. Okay. So, thank you so much. And I'm not seeing any further questions. Oh,
Excuse me.
hi.
Sorry, I couldn't get my Zoom to work, so I apologize. It's Karen speaking, and I own a small restaurant in Ottawa. And I
Okay.
have a quick question with regards to reimbursement. One of the things with POS systems, we're actually looking at adding an inventory system, is that it's not a one-time cost. It tends to be you sign up and it's a monthly charge. So I'm never quite sure how that works. If we like, do we have to incur it for a year and get reimbursed? Do we get reimbursed monthly? Do they just give us an invoice for the full amount? Just because it's a different way that they bill for it.
I'll leave that with Richard.
Yes, thank you, Karen. We have struggled with this because software as well is frequently on a subscription model. And the problem is we can't do a reimbursement monthly, the same as we don't want you to do a reimbursement month, a claim monthly either. We'll all drown in paperwork. What we are happy to do is if the vendor that you're talking to will do a yearly subscription and charge you for the full year up front, then you can submit that as the claim and we will pay 50% of that up to $5,000. So that's one way of doing it to see if you can get it billed as a yearly amount, but you have to incur the expense before we can reimburse it. The other thing that I would consider, there are options out there for POS systems that are purchase as opposed to monthly charge, and typically they are more expensive. But if you can take advantage of this program, then it can bring it back to a far more palatable expense, and just doing it that way instead, and then avoid the ongoing expense completely. So
thank you,
that's
Richard.
the option.
Helpful.
Yeah, no problem.
And I have a very interesting question for Benita. Is it Benita? Anyway, the question is, we have a young man who's just graduated with his level 4 sommelier, so he would be a consultant. Would that qualify? Does that sound a little bit stretched?
Sommelier for a restaurant. That's an interesting one.
Yes.
We haven't had that. We haven't had that. But luckily, I have my manager on the line here. So, Tweet, what do you think?
Hi. I'm not sure to understand the questions. Can you repeat?
It might be the English, but a sommelier. So he's a wine expert. He just finished his level 4 diploma. He's new to that, and he would help us to improve our wine offerings and the mixing and the food pairings, so to make the restaurant a bit more appealing to people who really want to.
Okay, I see. So I think in that case, because his expertise will add some added value into your offer. So I think that this expertise will be eligible as soon as your young consultant is a fully registered companies and official service provider.
So he has to have an official company as well. I see.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
He can be either sole proprietorship, and we are not expecting that you're working with service provider who are incorporated federally or provincially.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tweet.
Good question. And I see that there was just a link to the eligibility, and that link has been put in. Thank you, Alan. So that's just to the eligibility for the OCI grant with Ontario. Just looking around for any questions or any kind of final messages. I do, I encourage anyone. I know, it's at the end of November. We're about to hit the holidays. There might be a little bit of a peak in your busyness, and then January comes. I will have the presentation available on. We're going to put this on the OCOBIA YouTube channel, and we will send a link to that to the BIAs, and then we'll also post it on social media so that we'll have access. Of course, I want to thank again all of the presenters, Benita and Richard and Alan and Tui, for your support and to create this great opportunity for our small businesses. And yes, Kathy, I see that you please send the links to our emails. Yes, we will also do that as well. And I see that we ended up with just mid-30s in attendance, and there are quite a few more registered. So we'll get those emails out to those who registered. Great. Well, thank you, everyone, and enjoy your week.
Thank
Happy
you,
Monday.
Michelle.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Michelle.
you very
Thank you,
much.
Michelle.
Thank you,
Thank you
Thuy.
all.
Bonjour,
Thank
Thuy.
you. À bientôt, Cathy.
Thank you. Merci.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.